the Federation will stand united until the last star burns cold and we see this scourge of Klingon aggression shattered like waves upon the firmament. We will not fail.
Egotastic FunTime.
Hey gang, I'm JP and welcome back to Egotastic FunTime. Today we're going to have a great time talking about the exciting news that the legit real Star Trek that longtime fans are actually wanting is finally coming our way now that a long-fought lawsuit with CBS has concluded. Axanar is back in production and I got all the details coming up. Set in the Star Trek universe, Prelude to Axanar is a 2014 fan-funded film by Alec Peters and Christian Gossett. Taking place 21 years before Captain James T. Kirk was in command of the Enterprise in Star Trek the original series, Axanar is the story of Garth of Izar and his crew during the 4 years war with the Klingon Empire that almost tore the Federation apart. Garth's victory at Axanar solidified the Federation, and the account is required reading at Starfleet Academy. The short film is presented in a documentary-style format recounting the events surrounding the Battle of Axanar and stars Kate Vernon, Tony Todd, the late Richard Hatch, J.G. Hertzler, and Gary Graham reprising his role as Ambassador Soval from Star Trek Enterprise. The film features interviews of actual participants on both sides and is narrated by Federation historian John Gill, who appeared in the original series episode Patterns of Force. Prelude to Axanar was highly regarded by Trekkies all around the world, and author David Gerrold, writer of The Trouble with Tribbles and contributor to both Star Trek the original series as well as The Next Generation. After reading the Axanar script, he stated, "This is Star Trek," and actually signed on as creative consultant. Prelude to Axanar is regarded by Star Trek fans as having the highest Hollywood-style production quality and a must-see for any devotee of the franchise, and it proves that a studio doesn't have to spend, CBS, millions of dollars, CBS, to produce a feature-quality Star Trek, definitely not CBS these days, production. Axanar won Best Production Design, Best Visual Effects, Best Soundtrack, Best Original Story, Best Director, and Best Short-Form Dramatic Presentation at the Independent Star Trek Fan Film Awards, while Star Trek Discovery won Certified Fresh by critics on Rotten Tomatoes and some other stuff. Prelude to Axanar was only meant to be a proof of concept to help raise money for a full feature-length Axanar movie, and it worked. The production's Kickstarter page raised well over $500,000, and the idea of a fan-funded Star Trek film that would fully live up to the look and feel of the sci-fi legacy created by Gene Roddenberry over 50 years ago would become reality. Something that was made by and for generations of Star Trek fans, and CBS said, nah, f*** Star Trek and f*** Star Trek fans. We're taking our ball home so no one else can play. On December 29th, 2015, a day that will live in infamy, CBS and Paramount Pictures filed a copyright lawsuit seeking damages, stating Axanar infringed on their rights by using elements of Star Trek like settings and characters and themes and the use of the Klingon language. Even if you invented a language, you can't sue people for using it, you dicks. Axanar Productions tried to fight back in court, but ultimately their plight to make an awesome fan film / homage to such an amazing franchise that we've all grown up with didn't prevail, at least not completely. Even J.J. Abrams put down his lens flare generating machine for a couple minutes to comment on the lawsuit, stating that within the next few weeks it will be announced the lawsuit is going away and that he pushed the studio to stop the lawsuit because we realized this is not the appropriate way to deal with the fans, says J.J. Abrams. But J.J. underestimated just how low Greed BS's ability to destroy Trek fandom could sink when his statement had no apparent impact on the lawsuit. JJ and Star Trek have since parted ways after Paramount forced him to fast track Into Darkness, arguably the worst Star Trek movie ever made. And yes, I'm talking even worse than Insurrection, but that's a story for a different day, you guys. Today, I'm here to tell you that Axanar's story isn't done. The lawsuit is over, and although we won't be getting a feature-length movie, which was the original goal, as part of the settlement, Axanar Productions are allowed to make 2 more 15-minute episodes, and production is already underway. And Damn, you guys, this isn't a review video of Axanar, but have you watched Prelude to Axanar? It's everything a Star Trek prequel series should have been. It looks and feels like Star Trek, it sounds like Star Trek, and I'm betting if the technology existed today, that it even smells like Star Trek. And I'm talking that good stank. Live long and prosper. Axanar takes place a decade before Discovery, which takes place about a decade before the original series. The visuals are top-notch, the acting is superb, the story is compelling, and the format is fresh and unlike anything ever done with Star Trek before. Just like Discovery, it's contemporary, but unlike Star Trek Discovery, Axanar actually feels like Star Trek and not only respects canon, it strengthens and uplifts it. Going from Enterprise to Axanar to the original series feels like a natural progression to the timeline, and all three are linked together story-wise. If you were to add Discovery to this timeline, it obviously seems out of place and wrong. Like marrying the woman of your dreams and then finding out after the honeymoon that she gave you an STD. And that's a truth that's hard to handle. Someone that you love would do that to you, and it also itches. So for the first time ever, these real short treks are going to consist of legit Star Trek and not whatever the hell CBS has been putting out on their silly app for the last couple months for $5.99 a month for a single 10 to 15 minute episode per month. What are you guys doing over there at CBS? The bad news though is that most of the $600,000 raised by fans for the feature-length film had to be spent on legal fees during the lawsuit, so thanks for that, CBS. The story for the full-length feature has been condensed down to 30 minutes and will be released in two 15-minute episodes. Marvel Comics writer Paul Jenkins has signed on as director. Gary Graham will be back as Ambassador Soval. J.G. Hertzler will be back as Sam Travis. Kate Vernon is currently in discussions to return as Captain Alexander, and they're casting another 12 roles right now. Will you maybe be seeing moi reporting for duty aboard the USS Ares at some point? No, you won't. But I'll be damned if I won't be talking about Axanar on the show, you guys. Do you know how sad it's made me that the only new Star Trek I get to talk about is just some mirror universe nightmare that I can't wake up from, where they're saying that these scary poop emoji monsters are Klingons, even though we know they're not Klingons. Those aren't Klingons. Stop messing with Star Trek canon, CBS. Stop it! According to Axanar Productions, those that have read the script love it and will not only get to see the rest of the story concluded, but we're going to meet some great new characters, new and old, and we're going to see a space battle the way space battles in Star Trek should be. And, this is the most important part, you guys, we'll see how the Star Trek that we love should have been updated for today's audience and still honor canon.
Ah, boom, bitch! That's what I'm talking about right there on that boom!
I'm really excited to see what's in store with Axanar, and I want you to know that I'll be covering not only production updates here on Egotastic FunTime and reviews of the two new episodes when they come out in 2019, but I'll be going back and reviewing the first Prelude to Axanar short film, as well as comparing the Star Trek series that fans want with the series that we actually got. We'll also be doing a Prelude to Axanar watch party right here on the channel that might include a special guest who knows a lot more about the state of Axanar Productions than I do, and he's ready to answer your questions, so stay tuned for that announcement. Axanar is a labor of love by not only fans of Star Trek, but professionals, both in front of and behind the camera, who have worked on many of the Star Trek films and series that we all love. When I watched Prelude to Axanar, I had the same feeling I had when I first watched The Orville, and it's a sentiment that is best expressed by Spock's half-brother, Spocko.
Now that's a Star Trek!
Okay, that's it. That's all I wanted to talk about today, and I talked about it. How about you? Are you pumped for the exciting conclusion to the Axanar story? Do you think it shows what new Star Trek should be as opposed to what it has been? What do you think about the way CBS has been treating Star Trek fans over the last few years, and how they've handled supposedly official new Star Trek content like Discovery? You can let me and them know what you think by joining the conversation below. Thank you so much for liking, sharing, and subscribing to my stupid show and helping support me on Patreon. It really means the world to me, you guys. Stay tuned for more updates from the set of Axanar, as well as some special guest appearances by those involved with bringing real Star Trek back to fans. And I'll see you very soon, and as always, I hope all your times are egotastic fun times. Love you. Bye-bye.
Egotastic FunTime, we're gonna have a great time. Egotastic FunTime, give me all your money. Give him all your money. You will find it funny. Just give me money. I love money. Give me all your 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 money.